My Lords, I only want to reflect slightly on some of the comments that have been made about the tone of the debate, in particular the attack on the Noble Lord Pannick. Because actually I've been shocked by the tone of the debate against the Noble Lord Pannick's points. Because the argument seems to be that this is a Tory conspiracy theory, they're in bed with press barons, that there's all sorts of skullduggery going on. Yep. That, I mean, I'm genuinely shocked that this is being allowed to pass. So I at least want to mention that there are some of us who worry about an authorised regulator and the politicisation of regulation that are not in bed with press barons, and who I spend most of my time reading newspapers, writing rubbish about me, and I am not keen on press barons, let's put it that way. But I also happen to believe in media independence and freedom, and this is an important point. I think this is also important because in the earlier discussion, because I really want this bill to just get on and pass, but in the earlier discussion, I think for the sake of the public and accuracy, in a discussion about local TV news channels, one Noble Lord, sitting close to me, made the point that in local TV news channels, he said GM News, but he meant GB News constantly played. Actually, it isn't GB News. It's Talk TV, if you want to know factually what is played on all of those, including Liverpool. I get it and watch it. That's what is played. Secondly, the accusation was made that Ofcom, because it's run by evil Tories, is not doing anything about GB News and the way it presents itself. Actually, it's worth reading the papers and the press on this, because then we would all know that Ofcom are in fact accused of over-regulating GB News to such an extent, and for exactly the things which the Noble Lord mentioned that you were ignoring, and in fact to such an extent that GB News are now beginning a formal legal process against Ofcom because it considers that they're over-politically involving themselves in the editorial independence of GB News. I say these matters of factual accuracy because I do think that what's at stake here is not which political party you're in. We were talking about Reithian principles before. Has anyone explored Reith's politics at any point? Right? I mean, he wasn't a socialist. He wasn't a Lib Dem. But I do agree that Reithian principles matter. I don't care who is arguing for press freedom. I don't care who is trying to overturn Section 40. I do not think it's a conspiracy to establish an independent regulator for the media, which is not a threat to the British public. What is a threat to the British public is a politicised, misinformed, ill-informed discussion which tries to suggest that the only people who care about press freedom are working with press barons. Nonsense.